I do not know how long I have been here. A long time. I do not know where this place is. Somewhere far away. I do not know why I am here, because I did something wrong. I do not know how long I have to stay here. A long time. This is not a long bridge, but it goes on forever. I am not far from the bank, but I will never get there. I walk, but I never move. Fast or slow, running, turning, doubling back, jumping, throwing myself or stopping, nothing makes any difference. The bridge is made of iron. It is thick, heavy, rusting iron, pitted and flaking, and it makes a dead, heavy sound beneath my feet, a sound that is so thick and heavy it is almost no sound, just the shock of each footfall travelling through my bones to my head. The bridge seems to be solid iron. Perhaps it was not once, perhaps it was riveted together once, but now it is one piece, rusted into one, decaying into a single rotting mass. Or it may have been welded. Who cares? It is not large. It bridges a small river I can see through the thick iron bars that would rise from the edge of the balustrade. The river flows straight and slow out of the mists under the bridge. Just then as straight and slow away again into the same damned mist downstream. I could swim that river in a couple of minutes, if it wasn't for the carnivorous fish. I could cross this bridge in much less time than that, even walking slowly. The bridge is a part of a circle, perhaps the upper quarter in terms of height. Its whole mass forms a great hollow wheel which encircles the river. On the bank behind me there is a cobbled road leading off across a marsh. On the far bank are my ladies, reposing or disporting in a variety of small pavilions or opened wagons, resting on a small meadow surrounded, so I see on the odd occasions when the mist thins slightly, by tall, broad-leaved trees. I walk forever towards the ladies. Sometimes I walk slowly, sometimes fast. I have even run. They beckon to me, they wave and hold out welcoming hands to me. Their voices call to me in tongues I cannot understand, but which are soft and lovely to me, warm and beseeching to me, and which fill me with furious desire. The ladies walk back and forth or lie among satin pillows in their small pavilions and broad wagons. They wear all sorts of dress, some severe and formal, covering them from neck to sole, some loose and flowing like silk waves on their bodies, some thin and transparent or full of carefully positioned tears and holes, so that their full young bodies, white as alabaster, black as jet, gold as gold itself, shine through as though their youth and primed nubility was something bright that burned within them, a warmth my eyes can detect. They undress for me slowly sometimes while watching me. Their large, sad eyes are full of longing, their slender, delicate hands going softly to their shoulders, opening, slowing off, brushing away straps and layers of material as if they were drops of water left after a bath. I howl, I run faster, I scream for them. Sometimes they come to the lip of the bank, the very edge of the bridge, and tear their clothes off, screaming to me, clenching their little fists and moving their hips, going down on their knees, legs spread, crying to me, holding out their arms to me. I scream then too and throw myself forward. I sprint for all of my worth, or, stiff with desire, hold my prick like some stunted flagpole in front of me, running and shaking it, and bellowing with frustrating desire. Often I ejaculate and fall weakly, used up to the hard iron surface of the bridge's curved deck, to lie there panting, sobbing, crying, beating the flaking iron surface with my hands until they bleed. On occasion the women make love to each other in front of me. I wail and tear my hair. They take slow hours sometimes, gently kissing and stroking, caressing and licking each other. They cry out at orgasm, their bodies jerking, clutching, pulsing in time to each other. Sometimes they watch me as they do this, and I can never decide whether the look in their large, moist eyes is still sad and longing, or satiated and mocking. I stop and shake my fist at them, yell and shout at them. Bitches, ingrates, bloody torturers, hellbags. What about me? Come here. You come on here. Here. Come on, just step on. Well, throw me a fucking rope then. They do not. They parade, they strip, they fuck, they sleep and read old books, they make meals and leave small rice paper trays of food on the edge of the bridge so that I can eat, but sometimes I rebel. I throw the trays into the river, the carnivorous fish demolish food and tray, but they will not step into the bridge. I recall that witches cannot cross water. I walk. The bridge revolves slowly, rumbling and shivering just a little. The bars which rise from its edges move slowly. stroking through the mist. I run. The bridge quickly revs up, matches my speed, quivering beneath my feet. The bars on either side of me make a soft ripping noise through the mist-filled air. I stop. The bridge stops. I'm still above the centre of the small, slowly flowing river. I sit. The bridge remains static. I jump up and throw myself towards the bank where the ladies are. I roll, scramble, I hop or skip or jump. The bridge rumbles one way or the other, never more than a few steps out of step with me, and always bringing me back in the end to its shallow summit, its midpoint over the sluggish stream. I am the keystone of the bridge. I sleep, usually at night, sometimes during the day, above the centre of the waters. I have several times waited until the very centre of the night, feigning sleep for hours, then up, jump, bursting away with one mighty leap, a single bound, aha! But the bridge moves quickly, not fooled, and in seconds I am, whether running or leaping or rolling, back above the centre of the stream again. I have tried to use the bridge's inertia against it, its assumed momentum, its terrible mass. So I run first one way, then the other, trying by these rapid changes in direction to catch it out somehow, fool it, outwit it, bamboozle the bastard, just be too damn quick for it. Of course I always try to make sure that if I do get off, it will be on the bank which holds the ladies, don't forget the carnivorous fish, but without success. The bridge, for all of its weight, for all of its solid massiveness of it, which ought to make it slow to move and hard to break, always moves just too fast for me, and I have never come closer than half a dozen strides from either bank. There is a breeze sometimes, not enough to clear the mist, but sufficient, if the wind comes from the right direction, to bring to me the perfumes and bodily odours of the ladies. I hold my nose. I tear strands of my rags from and stick them up my nostrils. I have thought of stuffing rags in my ears as well, and even of blindfolding myself. Every few tens of days, small men, swarthy and thick-set and dressed as satyrs, come running out of the forest behind the meadow and fall upon the ladies, who, after a show of resistance and displays of coquetry, surrender to their small lovers with unaffected relish. These orgies go on for days and nights without pause. Every form of sexual perversion is practised. Red lamps and open fires light the scene at night, and vast quantities of roasted meats, exotic fruits and spicy delicacies are consumed, along with many skins of wine and bottles of spirits. I am usually forgotten on such occasions, and even my food is not left on the bridge, so I starved while they sate their every appetite to the point of gluttony. I sit and face the other way, scowling at the dank marsh and the unreachable road crossing it, quaking with anger and jealousy, tormented by the whimpers and screams coming from the far bank and the succulent smells of roasting meats. Once I grew hoarse screaming at them, hurt my ankle jumping up and down, and bit my tongue while cursing them. I waited until I needed a crap, then threw the turd at them. These obscene brats used it as one of their filthy sex games. After the small dark men dressed as satyrs have dragged themselves back into the forest, and the ladies have slept off the effects of their multifarious indulgences, they are, as they were before, if a little more apologetic, even wistful. They make special dishes for me and give me food more than usual, but often I am still upset and throw the food at them, or into the river for the carnivorous fish. They look sad and sorry, and go back to their old habits of sleeping and reading, walking and undressing and making love with one another. Perhaps my tears will rust the bridge, and I shall escape it. Today the mist cleared, not for long, but for long enough. On my bridge without end I have reached the end. I am not alone. When the mist lifted, I saw that the river went straight into the clear distance forever on either side. The marsh lines it on one bank, the meadow and the forest on the other, without a break. 100 paces or so upstream there is another bridge, just like mine, iron, like part of a circle, and edged with thick iron bars. There was a man inside it, gripping the bars and staring at me. Beyond him, another bridge and another man, and so on, until the line of distant bridges became an iron tunnel, vanishing to nothing. Each bridge has its own road across the marsh, each has its ladies, pavilioned and carriaged. Downstream just the same, my ladies did not seem to notice. The man in the bridge downstream from mine stared at me for a while, then began running. I watched his bridge revolve, fascinated by its steady smoothness, then stopped and stared at me again, then at the bridge downstream from him. He climbed up onto the parapet, up the bars and over them, and then, after only the briefest of hesitations, dropped into the river. The water frothed red. He screamed and sank. The mist came back. I shouted for a while, but I could hear no other voice from up or downstream. I am running now, steady and fast and determined. Several hours so far. It is growing dark. The ladies seem worried. I have run right over 3 of their food-filled trays. My ladies stand and watch me, sad and large-eyed, somehow resigned, as though they have seen this all before, as though it always ends this way. I run and run. The bridge and I are one now, part of the same great steady mechanism, and I the river threads. I shall run until I drop, until I die, in other words, forever. My ladies are crying now, but I am happy. They are caught, trapped, transfixed, heads bowed, but I am free.